Sialkot remains to be a global force in the sports good industry in Pakistan and global markets. And that took over 70 years to be built and expand worldwide. As a major export hub in Pakistan and beyond, Sialkot is also well known for surgical instruments, leather goods, garments, cutlery, and musical instruments. Unlike other industries in the country, Sialkot's sports goods cluster, or what we call an entrepreneurial ecosystem, has grown in its own unique fashion and gradually expanded globally because of its well entrenched business ecosystem. Northeast of the Punjab province in Pakistan, Sialkot is a border town of 1.26 million residents with an amazing array of entrepreneurial businesses and successful SMEs. And of course, SMEs are small and medium sized enterprises that operate within this entrepreneurial ecosystem. Over 200,000 workers, artisans, small business owners, and established experts are involved in Sialkot's entrepreneurial ecosystem that is the largest provider of soccer balls in the world. As we know, the 2022 FIFA World Cup will be held in Qatar, and interestingly, Sialkot soccer balls will be used. We will watch 28 days of action-packed 64 soccer matches, and millions of viewers will be watching worldwide. Of course, the credit goes to Sialkot's well-known entrepreneurial ecosystem and its soccer ball industry, which is world famous. The entrepreneurial ecosystem has witnessed major changes in its development and evolutionary growth, and its entrepreneurs remain to be savvy and professionally trained when dealing with today's competitive business clusters and global markets. Sialkot sports goods industry, which is a major export in the country, continues to attract consumers and MNCs, which are multinational corporations. Drawing upon the literature of IB, International Business, and its interdisciplinary literature, I systematically investigated and discussed Sialkot's world-renowned entrepreneurial ecosystem and its evolutionary growth and global expansion when dealing with Pakistan's exports. Like biological ecosystems, entrepreneurial ecosystems also carry the same characteristics, except there are more actors and stakeholders involved. Here, the literature talks about evolutionary growth, social embeddedness, harmony, competition, cooperation, and long-term global strategies. Sialkot's sports goods industry and its well-established ecosystem is made up of thousands of firms employing over 200,000 people. These firms export over $450 million worth of products worldwide. Interestingly, 40 million hand-stitched inflatable soccer balls are exported annually, earning over $210 million from the area. The primary actors of this entrepreneurial ecosystem basically are large and well-established firms and sports goods manufacturers that sell in Pakistan and global markets. Additionally, primary actors of sports good industry are raw material suppliers, the Sialkot Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Sialkot's International Airport, which interestingly was built under the auspices of a public-private partnership initiative. Secondary actors of Sialkot's industry basically are SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises that specialize in product categories and manufacturing sectors. Additional entities include Sialkot's Dry Port Trust, Model Customs Collectorate financial institutions, municipal corporations, and global firms and MNCs that procure their goods from the area. Tertiary actors in the whole area basically are regulatory agencies, NGOs, non-governmental organizations, social media platforms, local and national industry associations, and wholesalers and retailers. Collectively, primary, secondary, and tertiary actors and entrepreneurial firms are the backbone of Sialkot's entrepreneurial ecosystem that remains to be distinctly peculiar and inherently competitive because of its agility and dynamic business environment. In IB, this is the only sports good industry cluster in the world that truly epitomizes its entrepreneurial spirit, superb sales, networks, and corporate initiative. The sports goods cluster has not been copied or emulated because of its economic agglomeration, favorable territorial integration, and network proximity in Pakistan. Sialkot's entrepreneurial ecosystem somewhat resembles Elinor Ostrom's famous work, which revolves around governing the commons and remains to be based on cooperation, collective action, and harmony. History reveals that synergistic turnaround, corporate recovery, and expansion activities were possible in the ecosystem because of the industry-wide collaboration and networks. At the same time, in its longitudinal growth, experimentation of new technologies, R&D, research and development, and innovations have been limited because of the size of firms and funding resources. Spillover effects among SMEs in global markets are limited from Sialkot, and of course the clusters and firms' failures and exit in global markets have been a problem because of inexperienced entrepreneurs, competition, and limited financial resources. At the same time, the city, local businesses, and export firms and entrepreneurs built Sialkot International Airport Limited by creating a public-private partnership, which remains to be a commendable initiative in Pakistan. And of course, the airport started operations in 2007. Overall, it's fair to say that Sialkot's entrepreneurial ecosystem is a world-class leader in sports goods, and that represents a successful business cluster and will continue to expand and add value to Pakistan's socio-economic well-being and much needed economic prosperity. Sialkot's sports good industry and its well-known cluster is truly a role model in IB and its related areas. Right from their inception, Sialkot's sports goods industry and its thousands of entrepreneurs and SMEs resemble business nomads, or what we call gypsies, who traveled to far-flung areas of the world and lived in modern-day caravansarais to conduct business and interact with other sports goods firms. We need to remember that in the last 70 years, these business activities were taking place without any social media platforms, modern-day motels, and global logistics providers. Sialkot's sports good industry and its entrepreneurial ecosystem is a force to be reckoned with in Pakistan and global markets. Of course, there are some power and energy problems, shortages, labor shortages, and raw material problems, but the city's entrepreneurial ecosystem is a major backbone of the area. According to the World Economic Forum from Switzerland, entrepreneurs are the key drivers of economic and social progress. Rapidly growing entrepreneurial enterprises are often viewed as important sources of innovation, productivity growth, and employment.